Good morning. I'm Judge Person. I welcome everybody to court this morning. I apologize for the late start. I want to give some basic announcements before we get started. And I actually did want to ask the person on the telephone that was just speaking, 254 area code ending in 609, give or take a few numbers. Can you tell me your name? Oh, you just muted yourself. What is your name on the telephone? It's one of the people I couldn't identify. I am trying to identify persons, and I looked, beforehand, so I've been looking to see who's here. Person on maybe in a car, the car stationary, thank you. Cynthia Pesa, if you could unmute for just a quick moment.
Yes, ma'am.
I believe, and I'm just going to verify with the clerk, but I believe I signed a dismissal of that case this morning. So you are good.
Okay, thank you, ma'am. I appreciate that very much.
Thank you. We'll email the dismissal to the address that we have on file. Will that work? It's the one we
Yes, ma'am. That'll be perfect.
Okay.
Thank you so much.
All right. Thank you, ma'am. You're good
Bye-bye.
to go. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Yes, ma'am. And I had a few others. So, and then I did have another person I wasn't able to identify on a Samsung, and the audio for that person is not currently connected. And then on the iPhone, I see is Mr. Swain. So actually, Mr. Swain, I'm going to move your case over to the breakout room with the prosecutor while I make announcements, because actually I know that you and he already have heard those announcements. So let me get that moving. Okay, so just to kind of tell everybody a little bit about how things move through a courtroom. When you're given a ticket or issued a citation, those are all methods that we have for accusing someone. That's what a ticket is. And I'm just letting someone know their audio is off. Okay, and so I do want to just give you some brief announcements. I found that it's helpful if I do that, because then we all just get on the same page. So I do want to let you know that when you're given a ticket or issued a citation, those are all methods under the law that accuse someone. That's how a ticket or a citation works. It's an accusation. And we have the right to trial, and we have the right to meet with an attorney before we head to trial. In a Class C court, we don't court appoint counsel, but if you want to meet with an attorney before you get started, if your plea has not yet been accepted, then you'll let me know that you need some time. The way that you would do that is just to say, Judge, I need time when it's your turn. That would give you an opportunity. It doesn't mean that you hire someone, that you have the opportunity to meet with someone before you get started and decide if you wish to hire an attorney. And then we come back on your next court date with or without that person. So let me know if that's you. Once you enter a plea, you've waived that right. So I also want to let you know a couple of things about pleas and how they work. So in the state of Texas, again, as I said, a citation being an accusation, when you give a plea, you're giving an answer or response to the accusation. There are three options for pleading: guilty, not guilty, and no contest. Guilty means I did it. Okay, it's just admitting that offense the way that it was charged, and we're moving into sentencing at that point. And I'll talk more about sentencing in a moment. If you enter a plea of no contest, again, we're moving into sentencing because you're not admitting it or contesting it. And so that case starts heading towards sentencing. If you plead not guilty, you're really saying the state should be required, and they are required when you do that, to prove the case against you. So when you plead not guilty, we're moving that case toward a trial process. We're heading to trial. So if you plead guilty or no contest, we're moving forward with sentencing. If you plead not guilty, we're heading that case toward trial. So, and then for trial right now, what we're doing is we have a convenient online meeting. Sometimes things don't get resolved there, but it can save you a trip if it does get resolved. And then that means that when we come here to the court for just a pre-trial, a formal pre-trial here at the court, that's your next setting where the case isn't resolved. we come into court and we start moving that case toward trial. That meeting here is normally less than an hour to set things up and get ready for trial. It's not the trial itself. So your next setting, it should be on the paperwork you were already provided, has that date on it. But I'll remind you before you go today. We're doing the pre-trials with the prosecutor, who is the attorney for the other side. The person is representing the party that filed the charge against you, is named Ryan Matson. He's the prosecutor here at the court. He'll be back on the screen here shortly. I will introduce him. But when y'all move off into that private space, it's like going in another room. You're having a conversation outside the presence of the judge, basically. And Ms. Booker, thank you for letting me know that. I appreciate you responding. I got it. And so I will just keep moving things forward. So, okay, the next thing I want to do is talk to you about the sentencing options that are available in a Class C court. I can't tell you how to apply the law to your case or tell you what you should do, but I am allowed to tell you how things move through a court and the options that are available as you go. So one thing that people wonder about is how are they going to pay their fines and costs? And I do normally ask for income information. There's really two to three reasons why I ask for that. And I don't make you fill out the same information on 3 different forms. I just get one form to rule them all, because otherwise it's duplicating stuff. So that form, you may have been asked to provide it, and hopefully you did. It makes certain things a little bit easier for me as a judge. On the not guilty docket, I'm looking at the bond that will be required to post for trial. On the guilty docket or no contest docket, I'm looking at whether you have an ability or inability to make payment. And if you're asking for a payment plan, I'm looking to set a realistic payment plan based on reality and not based on just, squeezing. Okay, so I'm trying to keep things fair, and I'm trying to move things through the court, because that's really my job as the judge. It's not, I don't have an opinion as to the outcome of the cases. I have rules that I follow as things proceed, if that makes sense. I'm going to pause right there. The next part of our discussion will just be to talk just one further thing. Let me do it now, to talk about income information again, because I'm on that topic. I look at those things in connection with payment plan requests, community service requests, trial requests. So it's being requested for a multitude of reasons. And I can talk to you about it on your specific case. But there's just a point where I stop and I can't help you further without that information. So just know that there's legal reasons for the questions I'm asking and for the information that I'm requiring. Okay. Mr. Matson, Mr. Swain, on the Kimberly Guthrie case, have y'all come to a place where we know what our next setting will be? We're scheduled on final pretrial for April 19th at 1 o'clock. This is a speeding charge. The costs and fines are $259. The allegation date, December 31st. Where are we on this matter?
Your Honor, Mr. Swain is going to take an offer back to his client. I anticipate that we will be removing this case from the docket prior to.
Okay. All right. For now, it's just going to go to the final pretrial docket, and I'll wait to hear further from the two of you, or we will talk about it on that day. Thank you, Mr. Swain. You're good to exit unless you had further questions.
Thank you, Your Honor. Yes, that's all.
Thank you. You're good to go, sir. And likewise, from the Takach case, Kendra File, did I say it remotely correctly?
Yes, you did. Thank you.
Okay, great. I'm going to move that case over for you and Mr. Matson. But before I do that, Mr. Matson, if you could just unmute, introduce yourself to the whole group, that would be helpful.
Yes, Your Honor. I'm Ryan Matson. I'm the prosecutor for Temple.
Thank you, Mr. Matson. I'm moving y'all over to that pretrial breakouts. And I've got a person late. I'm going to let them in. Now, let me go on further into sentencing options, because of course, I make assumptions about not just people, but I make assumptions that people do what I would do. Okay. So one thing I think about that I think is of concern for folks is, how is this going to impact my record? And money because these are fines and costs. Class C offenses result in the imposition of fines and costs. They can affect your criminal record. They can affect your driving record. And so I consider that most people have those are three concerns that people typically express to me. And so Shock Volt SV55, can you tell me your name real quickly? You just came into the meeting and I went ahead and brought you in, but I don't know who you are in terms of who's on my list. Can you unmute and tell me your name, please? And just walking around, not answering.
Chantrell Booker.
You know who that is? Or no, I've already identified you on the Samsung, right, Ms. Booker?
Oh, okay.
Yeah, this is a person labeled Shock Volt SV55. They're not
Okay.
connected to you, right?
No.
Okay, thank you. Sometimes people are. Okay, Shock Volt, who are you? Oh, you muted. Hi, can you tell me your name? You're muted, so I can't hear you.
Oh, Latricia Harris.
Thank you, Ms. Harris. We'll get to you soon, okay?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Okay, so, and then I just still have a telephone caller whom I haven't identified. If you're on the telephone, I've just sent you an unmute request directly to you. It's a 254 area code. Last 3 to 4 digits of the number are 609. Can you tell me who you are? You might be wasting time. I would rather not do that. Okay, well, I'm just going to move on. So one thing that I think people are interested in is what's available in terms of dismissal. So the law gives us the 4 dismissals that are available directly from the bench. And let me just tell you what those are and how they work. So compliance dismissals, driver safety course options, deferred dispositions, and teen court are all methods for gaining a dismissal. Now, let me kind of break those down a little bit. Compliance dismissals are things that can be brought up to date and then dismissed. Like, for example, and the law has to just specify, the law specifies which ones those are. So, for example, let's say you're driving down the road, you have a blinker that's out. You don't know your blinker's out. You put your blinker on, you make a turn, police officer stops you and says you didn't put your blinker on. And you show that him or her, no, I had my blinker on, and they say your blinker is broken. And then they cite you for defective equipment, blinker. Okay, so that scenario, the next step you take, of course, is to fix the problem because you don't want to keep getting pulled over. And you fix the blinker and you bring proof of that to the court, to the front desk, and you show them on time on your court date, hey, I got it done. I fixed it. Here's proof. We scan it to your file. You pay a $10 fee, you get your case dismissed. You got to be on time for about 90% of those. If you're on time and you've got something that can be dismissed through compliance, normally I'm looking and I will tell you because those laws say the judge shall do so. So I will look for those. But ask me questions if I'm not immediately talking to you about it, because if you think it might be and I'm missing something, perhaps, or worst case scenario, I didn't miss it and I explained to you what's wrong or why it can't be dealt with that way. I don't play the shame game. You just ask questions when it's your turn because people mostly self-represent in this type of court. So just ask the questions that you're having. If I can't answer them, I will just tell you I can't answer that. That's legal advice. Okay. If it's not legal advice, if I'm allowed to give that answer, then I will give it to you. If not, I will tell you what's happening, okay? So you can ask questions and I will tell you if I can or cannot answer them. The second way to gain a dismissal is if you qualify for a driving safety course. With a driving safety course option, you pay the costs, the fine goes on hold. So here you have court costs, the fine on hold, you turn in license and insurance with your court costs, and then you have a 90-day window to turn in your driving record and your course, the proper record, the proper course. You turn them in on time or early, you get your case dismissed, the fine gets waived. it's cheaper to do the driver safety course if you qualify than to pay the ticket, and it keeps it off your record. The reason being that every ticket has a fine and a cost. The costs are set by the legislature, the fines are set by the judge of the court. So this one I can waive if you successfully complete. This one has to get paid up front. It's not cheap. When I started working in the courts, the court costs in a Class C court were $50. I'm not that old, but they've gone up in 5 legislative sessions. They've gone up 300%. Not that that's a real percentage, but they've gone up to about $150. So I'll be talking to you about when that can get paid. If it looks like you're qualified to be in the driving safety program. Another reason we have that program, though, is that we know that people drive just a little bit better after they engage in that program, and therefore it is worth doing. We all drive together. So I will talk to you about it if it looks like you might be qualified, but you are welcome to ask questions. Let me get I'm going to pause there. I've got 2 more dismissal options to describe to you, but I want to take the Harbinger Sandhu case on the Takach Misfile case. And where are we, Mr. Matson, Misfile? We've got a pretrial final setting of April 19th at 2 p.m. This is a speeding charge, December 20th, and the fines and costs are $254. Okay, where are we?
We'll go ahead and continue to that date, Your Honor. Ms. File's going to speak with her client and see what they want to do.
All right, that makes sense. I was just looking at that license. I guess it's out of state. So Ms. File, we'll expect everyone here unless the case is otherwise resolved prior to that.
Yes, Judge. Thank you so much.
Do you have any further questions before you?
Nope.
Then you are good to do so.
Thank you so much.
Yes, ma'am. And I'm admitting a few people that came in late. One I can't identify. The other, if I could, Terry Bay just came in late. Terry Bay, can you unmute? Oh, they're not connected. Almost connected. Okay. So I'll do that in a moment. So the third way to gain a dismissal, now listen up. The first 2 I talked about, compliance and driver safety, those 2, I looked for those. Okay, you can ask about them. The third one is called a deferred disposition. Sometimes we just call it a deferred, but with a deferred disposition, deferred means to delay, disposition to make final. I delay making your case final, and I put an order in place. If you follow that court order, then I sign a dismissal. There will be a list of things on the page that you will be asked to do. We've got to sort out fines and costs. I might require a class or a record or something that you turn in. You have to keep your address current with the court. You have to let us know if you move, in other words, not get any more charges of any kind, and not get arrested or get warrants. As long as you don't reoffend and have court dates, as long as you turn in whatever's required and meet your payment obligation that will be listed, then at the end of the deferral period, when I look and see if you've got everything done on time, I sign a dismissal. That's what a deferred disposition is. The thing I'm going to say now, though, is you have to request a deferred disposition up front at the time that your plea is accepted. Guilty or no contest, I'd like a deferred. That's what that would look like. You must do that. I don't look for you. Okay. Now, I'm going to consider any deferral requests when they're made, and we'll go from there. Okay. Now, the fourth way to gain a dismissal is through teen court. If you are a student in middle school or high school, I'm looking at teen court as the first line of what we would do, because that is the most effective. I'm less likely to see people back in court when they successfully perform teen court. It's the most effective, what we call anti-recidivism measure that we have. And so I'll be looking automatically and kind of pushing you Now, we can't force you. So if you're really not going to do what we're asking, it looks like a deferred. There's a list of things for you to do. If you're just not going to do it, I mean, you can pay the fine and cost and have it go on your record. That's up to you. But teen court is a way to save a good deal of money and keep the item off your record. And it does look a bit like a deferred in that there will be a list of things that you must do timely. Okay. So we'll be talking to you individually about those. So that's really the 101. And I'm going to then now move Mr. Mattson. Stephanie Lee was first to log in. And Ms. Lee, let me go ahead and get you moved over. Let's see if your audio is working. So I've sent you an unmute request. How are you this morning?
I'm doing all right. How are you?
Good, thank you. Let me move you over to that meeting.
All right, thank you.
And that's again, a meeting with the prosecutor who doesn't represent you, but when we're heading toward trial, well, that's just a normal first stop.
All right.
And so I'm going to be working with people as well because we're really working 2 dockets. Give me a moment to catch up the papers. And also to ask a couple of quick questions. Telephone caller just logged in, kind of late to court, 254 area code, ending in 938 or so. What's your name, please?
Stephanie Robertson.
Stephanie, what was the last name? Roberson? Thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
I've got you. Thank you very much. I'm going to just change what you can't see is that I've got a bunch of names on the screen.
Okay.
And so, I mean, I've got folks, you're in a queue, in a line like you would be in a courtroom, except we're more conveniently located, but I will call out to you shortly.
Yes, ma'am.
I've got another telephone caller who has yet to respond. It's a 254 area code 609, hitting you with an unmute request. If you could unmute, tell me who you are. Harry Baines' case was dismissed and there was nothing further. Is that right? Okay. So yeah, I've got one more person. And her case was, sorry? Yeah, no, it is, but her audio isn't working. So I've been trying to just get her to connect, but Mr. Mattson, are we good to pull Stephanie Lee back over?
We are, Your Honor.
Okay. On the Lee case, this is failing to yield the right of way from a private drive. Accusation date is January 5th. The fines and costs are $260. We have a final pretrial set for April 5th.
Excuse me for interrupting. This is Bonnet Base. I am here.
I got you already. Thank you. But I was talking to Mr. Mattson and Ms. Lee. Where are we with this case?
We will be continuing to that April 5th date, Your Honor.
Okay. Unless the case is resolved, I'm expecting that we are all here April 5th at 3. Okay, Ms. Lee?
Okay.
All right. We'll see you then. You're good to go for today.
All right, thank you.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you. Mr. Mattson, moving you forward with Bryce Wilson. Bryce Wilson, if you could unmute, let me find you on the screen.
Yes,
Saw
ma'am.
you a minute ago. There you are. Okay. I'm moving you over to that meeting with the prosecutor. And
Judge, before you move him over, I actually believe I filed a dismissal on this case already.
oh, you did. Yes. Mr. Wilson, that case has been dismissed by the prosecution. So actually, we'll email that to you. You might already have it in your email. I signed that this morning, and we'll send it to the email that we have on file. And that's where we sent this meeting request. Will that email work?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, case has been dismissed, so you're good to go.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for catching that, Mr. Mattson. I've got a couple of those this morning, and one of them, she's on the screen and I'm not getting. Yeah, so we'll get there. Your next person, however, is Yolanda Davis. Ms. Davis, can you unmute?
Yes.
Great. I'm going to move you over to that meeting with the press.
Okay.
Okay, and I'm keeping folks muted until it's their turn. I have several folks who just keep unmuting, and I don't know if it's how your system is interpreting something you're doing, but if we all talk at once, then I can't hear anything at all. I'm moving forward with Tasia Turner. Tasia Turner, can you unmute?
Yes.
Good morning. How are you?
Good.
Great. So I'm Judge Person again, and we have 4 cases. We've had them on community service, and we didn't get that completed. I've got now a request for a payment plan with really income that's not very supportive of getting a payment plan done. So I'm willing to do that. Are you pregnant now? Because your message said I'm pregnant. I was pregnant at the time. So I don't know if you meant when you were trying to do your community service, you were pregnant, or if you're pregnant now. Help me.
Pregnant now.
Okay. When are you due?
May 14th.
Okay. And I'm just looking real quick. Do you have other children?
No.
So this is the first. How's it going? Are things safe? Maybe get in good shape?
Yes, I just been having like a little pains from here and there.
Has your doctor ordered you to bed rest? Or anything?
No.
And with your job, are you going to take a leave after you have your child? Or I know some things are not always predictable, but I just have Social Security and food stamps happening for you. And I don't really see, I see rent and phone, and not a lot of food. I don't see a water bill. Is that included in your situation?
Yes.
Okay. So I could lower everything to, I know you proposed $50. I could lower it to $25, and I can do some reductions on your case. I do have a question before I do any of that. What is your, were you able to do any of the community service?
No.
Okay. I don't want to miss a chance to give you credit.
Okay.
Is that due to any kind of complications from pregnancy?
Yes.
Do you think that your doctor would put that in writing for me, or has already put that in writing? Have something for my file.
Yes.
Okay. Why don't we do this? Is that readily available? Can you bring it over today?
No. I will have to get an appointment.
Sorry.
I will have to get it in my next appointment.
Okay. How long would that take?
I have an appointment Thursday.
Okay. So why don't we do this? Let me have you come in and let me just go ahead and extend the community service for right now, because I can do that actually. I don't have dates sitting here with me. I can extend you a couple of weeks and make a decision as to whether or not I'm able to do some sort of waiver. And the more specific your doctor can be, the more helpful it can be for you. Okay. And I think the better option is for me to recall your warrants, but you have to come back. Okay.
Okay.
I'm going to go ahead and do the recall on the warrants and then reset. For 2 weeks. to March 28th, okay?
Okay.
All right. I do need you to come by, thank you, and do a signature on that change, that request. Can you come by and sign?
Yes.
What time can we look for you today?
About 3.
Okay. And so we're just resetting this case. And let's go ahead, and once you get that note from your doctor, just swing by and we can get it in the file. I might even be able to take a look at it a little bit before the next hearing, okay? All right. Ms. Turner?
Yes.
Okay, we'll see you at 3.
Okay.
Thank you. You're good to go. Mr. Mattson, you were talking with Yolanda Davis, and let me go ahead and get.
I'm back.
Great, there, I see you. Thank you so much. This is a single charge of no insurance from January 21st. The funds and costs are $281. We have a final pretrial date set for April 19th at 1 o'clock. And I also just would take note that Ms. Davis does qualify for community service in terms of bond. Where are we on the matter at hand?
Your Honor, we will continue to that April 19th date, but I anticipate this case will be resolved prior to that.
Okay. All right. So Ms. Davis, the best way to know if it's still pending is just call the morning of, that's an in-person meeting at 1 o'clock on the 19th of April. And just call the clerk to see if you think it's off and I still think it's on, the clerk will know that and will tell you, yeah, come on in. And that way, if you think it's supposed to be off and I don't, then we need to all figure out what's going on. If it's just off because something has been concluded, it should be reflected in that record when you call in, okay?
Okay.
So we'll look for you here that day if it's still on, okay?
Okay.
All right, do you have any questions before I let you go?
No.
Then you're good to do so. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Ma'am. Okay, and so Mr. Mattson, I'm moving you forward with Virginia Olivius. Virginia Olivius, can you unmute so that we know that your audio is working?
My name is Virginia Olivas.
Thank you. Good job. I'm going to move you over and you'll actually just go to a breakout session with Mr. Mattson, the prosecutor. Okay?
Okay. That's fine.
Yes, ma'am. Gotta give the system time to do that. Okay. And so I am also moving forward then. Let's see. Let me get caught up here. I just want to call quickly because I'm Povano or Honovan, excuse me, Woldridge. I did not see you here, but I'm checking. Lonnie Ray Selman, are you here? I don't see you. Callie Martinez, are you here? I don't see you. Nicholas Harrison, are you here? I don't see you. Michael Gonzalez, are you here? I don't see you. Terry Bay, can you please connect to your audio? Antonio Escasa, are you here? Okay, Terry Bay, one thing I want to let you know, something's up where I can't hear you. If you can get back on screen, if you can hear me, we can communicate through hand gestures, but I can't see you now either. Can you hear me, Miss Bay? Put your thumbs up or down because I can't hear you. Okay, your case was dismissed earlier and I've sent you several messages, but I didn't hear back from you there. So I'm letting you know you're good to go. You don't need to be in the meeting anymore. We emailed that to you to the email that we set up the meeting link for today. So you should have that in your box now because I signed that. So you're good to go. You're welcome. Thank you. Okay. All right. If I didn't call your name, don't worry. I called people that I think are not here. Okay. the other thing I'm moving forward then with is Bailey Renfro. Can you unmute?
Yes,
Good
ma'am.
morning. How are you, Bailey?
Good. How are you?
Thank you. I'm fine. Let me get your file pulled. There is you did request driver safety.
Yes, ma'am.
Are you in school?
Yes, ma'am.
Where do you go to school?
Lake Belton.
Okay. I do have teen court. I'll need a student ID or just something printed out from Skyward showing current enrollment. With teen court, what would happen is that I could set you on a teen court hearing. Okay. I'm sorry. Yeah, we would have you pay the $20 teen court fee. And then you would sit down today sometime with a case manager and y'all would come up with a sentence for me to consider. And I normally follow those, but you do that connect together with the case manager. And then we move that case forward through that process. Usually there's a class and so forth. It's just a little less expensive and more burden on you than on your parents for that option. So there is a $20 fee. Can you pay the $20 teen court fee today?
Yes, ma'am.
And hang on just a moment. I need to check one thing with a clerk. Just stay right here. When it says the one, so right now. Okay. And there's a couple of different types of teen court, and I'm just looking for the best option.
Okay.
Give me about a minute and a half. Right. What's our composition of people? Say, oh, then I have. Yeah, and I.
You have your ID from this year?
Oh, yeah, we got a bunch.
Okay.
Okay. I think not on this one.
Do that.
Into it. Okay, so then the next question is, what time could you be here to meet with the case manager?
Is that in person?
Yes, here today. And it should take about, once you get here, about half an hour. And you're 16, so I do need a parent.
Oh. Time do you work? I work at, gotta go to work at 3:30.
How about now? How
Can you
about
see us? We look crazy right now. I'm kidding. We can probably do 11 a.m.
Okay, oh, let's say 11. And just come to the window, let them know your name, Ms. Renfro and mom, and just say you're here to talk to the case manager about your case.
Okay.
You'll leave with everything you need, okay?
Okay.
Okay. All right, we'll see you shortly.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you. You also can get an excuse for school and work.
Okay.
Okay, thank you. One moment, folks. Well, they can do the teamwork process, but I said it not for their life. Yeah. Yeah. No, I know there's another one that looks like it's possible, and I just want them to recommend something. So I'm moving forward. Amanda Rowe. Oh, I'm sorry. And hold just a moment, Ms. Rowe. I'll be right with you. I just need to move Mr. Matson forward. Virginia Olivas. Let me pull that file. Okay. So this is a single charge of speeding in a school zone, 36 in a 25. Mr. Matson, where are we with regard to this matter?
We will continue to the final pretrial date, Your Honor.
Okay, that's going to be April 19th at 1 p.m. And Ms. Olivas, we'll see you here at the court at 1 o'clock on April 19th. Okay?
In person?
Yes.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, that's fine.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Bye-bye.
Have a good day. Bye.
Bye-bye. So I called the hall essentially a moment ago and I didn't get responses, but let me do this again. Antonio Escasa, I didn't see him. And then Michael Gonzalez, are you here? Callie Martinez, are you here? Lonnie Selman Jr., are you here? Mostly I know, but I've got this one person who has not responded on the phone. Jonovan Uldridge, are you here?
May I interrupt?
No, not yet.
Okay.
I don't see those folks whose name I called, and I'm just checking. Mr. Matson, so with the interruption, was it in regard with the list I was calling? Who was that? Okay, well, Mr. Matson, I think that you are good to go. I don't see any of the remaining persons on the list that were yours.
All right, thank you, Your Honor.
Okay, you're good to go. Thank you.
If anyone does show up, just let me know and I can come back on.
Okay, I appreciate that. Because we will be here a while, but it's over now. So
Okay, thank you, Judge.
thank you.
Goodbye.
Bye-bye. Clerk, let me just go back to the it may be better. Yeah. And let the clerk discuss it. Because I did not review it. Okay. Thank you. I'm just thinking about a bunch of different things. Okay. All right. I am moving forward with Amanda Rowe. Thank you, Ms. Rowe. How are you this morning?
A little cold, but I'm all right.
Oh, goodness. Well, yeah, it was much better than we expect for March. That'll help our flowers, I suppose. Let's, let me get your file pulled up. So there's a single charge of sale of tobacco to a minor. The fines and costs, if you paid it, are $296. The allegation date is February 21st. I did receive a plea of no contest and a request to pay in full within 30 days. Let's go one step at a time. Having gone through the pleading options that I went through earlier, did you understand those options, the guilty, not guilty, and no contest options?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And is that your plea at this time? No contest?
I believe so.
I'm just
I've never gone through this, so
yeah, most people don't do this every day. That's why I try to give a lot of information, but there's always a balance between a lot of information and too much information. So I like to just take things in small bites. So I'm just trying to confirm the plea that you wrote down on your paper was no contest. Is that your plea today?
I know you said the one where you can defer it. So
that's not, the deferral is not contingent on a plea. Although if you plead not guilty, I can't sentence you because you're going to trial. On guilty or no contest, people can request a deferred, and I consider it each time that request is made. So I first confirmed what is the plea, and then I next talk to you about options for sentencing. So guilty or no contest, I'd like a deferred is something you could say right now, for example. How are you pleading?
No contest, I guess.
Okay, and you're asking for a deferred?
Because that will help keep it off my record, right?
It will if you do what you're supposed to do, and if I grant it.
Okay. I just really don't want to mess up my record.
Right. Okay, so I will grant your request for a deferral. Okay. I did see some, a challenge in terms of income to debts. It's not super bad. Let me look at the fine for a moment. Are you able to pay anything toward your balance?
The balance was $293, correct?
It is at $296.
Okay, $296. Yes, I have the money, so I can pay it in full today if you need me to.
That's probably easier because we just check that off the list of things to do. And then the deferral would be for 120 days. So it would end on July 13th. And really the main thing is not to get any more citations or tickets during the deferral period. And I need to get your signature today. I see that you're in Killeen. If I email an order to you for you to sign, can you print it, sign it, and email it back over to us this morning?
I can actually come up there as soon as we're done.
That's fine. That actually works very well. Because then we hand you your receipt and your copy. So
yes.
I
can pay it today in full and sign whatever you need me to sign.
Okay, we're gonna have this ready for you at the front desk. What time should we look for you? Oh, we'll work for you.
Within the next 30 minutes, as long as it
Okay.
takes me to drive down there.
Why don't we say by 11? There's no, don't hurry. Okay.
Okay.
Okay, we'll have everything at the front desk. It shouldn't take more than a few moments. Okay.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Rowe.
I'm good to go.
Yes, you're good. To
Okay.
go.
Thank you. Have a great.
You too. Folks, give me just one moment. Sorry, tobacco class that has to get ordered there. Not for her, right? Again, give me a moment. I'm just, yeah, so I wouldn't think so. I just wanted to double check. Yeah, she did. Okay. All right, moving forward then, if I could next speak with Danielle Tubbs. Danielle, can you unmute?
Yes, ma'am, I'm here. I'm sorry.
You're okay. How are you?
Fine, how are you doing today?
Fine. Let me get your file pulled.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so I have a request for a payment plan. Let me just look. And a guilty plea. But I also see that right now income is not stable. And I can change what we're doing and shift this based on the information you provided. I can shift to community service. Before I take that step though, how are you pleading to the charge? It's a theft under $100. The fines and costs are $296. The allegation date is January 11th. I did receive a guilty plea on your paper form. I just want to check in with you before I accept your plea. What is your plea today?
It is guilty.
Okay.
And in regards to the employment situation, I'm like a subcontractor like employer. So it's not like a stable income, but I can do a payment plan. I am able to. I prefer to do that rather than community service.
Okay, I can do that with you because you know your situation. I mean, people can write it down, but some things can't be quantified quite the same way. So I will trust you to know your situation. if you hit hiccups and we set a payment plan, if you hit hiccups, you need to, definitely check in with the court. Don't just miss a payment and go to warrant because it's expensive and we have programs to keep you out of that situation.
Yes, ma'am.
So I'm just going to trust you to know if you get into trouble with that.
Okay.
So I will accept your plea of guilty and go ahead and move and enter that conviction. That's what we're looking to do.
Yes,
Is that
ma'am.
right? Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
I just have a question. I'm going to get a little nosy. Have you ever had anything like this before?
No, ma'am.
Okay.
Only
So
speeding tickets.
say that again.
Only speeding tickets.
Okay. So one thing that even you missed a court date, but one thing that I like to do with first offenders on theft charges is I like to see if they're requesting a deferred, and people can be timid. I tell them they can ask, but sometimes people are timid about it. You strike me that you might be that way. I would grant a deferral if you make that request at this time, and we need to sort the rest of this out. Is that
Yes,
your? Yeah.
we can do. I prefer that to defer. I just didn't know if it was too late for me to ask for the deferred since I had already pled guilty to the charge.
You did, but because we're scheduled for hearing today, and you're here, then I haven't done anything yet.
Okay. Thank you. I appreciate it.
Are you able to pay anything towards this balance today?
Not today, ma'am. No.
Okay. Are you currently where you're getting paid?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Let me look at your fine for just a moment.
Okay.
So I'm actually going to do a deep cut on your situation. Give me just a moment to get the record like that.
Okay. And then the original court date was missed because that just so happened to be the day where we had the ice storm.
Right. We reset you on that because we reset everybody without even being asked to do that. And then it got missed. And again, hang on just a moment. Okay. Your total I've dropped to 131. And if I break that into two payments, then it would be 66 and $65.
Okay.
If I put the first payment of 66 on April 13th, a month from today, can you do that?
Absolutely. Yes, ma'am.
And then your final payment, May 16th. And then a theft intervention class, which you can take online, due on June 13th.
Okay.
So every 30 days we got something due. And then the final end date for the deferral is August 15th. And so what this would look like is from today until August 15th, you would be on a deferred disposition. One condition is not to reoffend or get any further warrants. The further conditions are those two payments, one in a month, one in 60 days, and a class due on the 90th day. I need to see if you can come by the court today. One, because I want to give you the class information. And two, I need a signature. What time can we look for you today?
Would 12 o'clock be fine?
Yes, ma'am. That would be perfectly fine.
Okay, I will be there at 12.
Okay, we will have everything ready for you at the front desk at that time.
Okay, thank you, ma'am.
Now, then you would just follow your court order at that point, and it would keep it from being a conviction on your record.
Okay, I appreciate that.
It can really impact financially, it can impact jobs.
Oh, yes.
Yeah. And so it's really, and you can do any of those deadline things. You can do them early, just not late. Okay.
Okay. Thank you, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am. Do you have any questions?
No, ma'am.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Right. Moving forward, if I can talk to Cameron Gilmore.
Yes, ma'am.
Hi, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Good, thank you. Just looking at your file, there's a warrant for non-payment or completion of a court order. We had community service. You're requesting community service. We previously had a payment plan and community service, and it didn't nothing happened. You didn't do your part. And now
Yes,
you're wanting to do it again. So what happened that you didn't, it's not just not doing it. It's not doing it, not communicating about it and meeting your deadlines.
yeah, that's it. It was really just I hadn't really taken accountability for my actions the way I should have been. And the reason I wanted community service was because I'm very heavily involved in the church now and I do a lot of work. But we just found out that the Salado Church of Christ is not, how do I say, um, I guess it's not on the list of the community service.
No, here's how this works. If I had to list all the churches, I would have a community service list of 30 pages.
Yeah.
I do allow people to go off the list, but I have a pre-approval process because I've found even churches to be not always what you would think, like they aren't always a nonprofit. It has to be a nonprofit. If it's not
Yes,
a nonprofit, I can't help you there. If
Yes,
it's a
ma'am.
nonprofit, then I have a 2-week window at the beginning of your community service order, and there's written directions for how to leave the list and get something pre-approved so that you know I'm going to accept the hours. You're going to have to come by and pick that up. What time?
Yes, ma'am. Well, actually, I was going to talk to you about, so the day that I went up there to discuss my warrant and court hearing,
Yeah, we set you for a hearing. For
yeah,
today.
2 days after that, I did get a job. I got a
Okay.
job at a nursery called Garden City, and I'm getting paid $16.50 an hour. And so in the next 2 days, I also have my tax return coming, so I could actually start actually and sticking to my word, making a payment plan on it instead of doing community service.
Okay, that's fine. I need you to come by and, I need you to guesstimate your income and guesstimate your
Okay.
bill on your form, and then I can go ahead and approve you. I don't want to keep you coming back different
Yeah.
days. That's not the purpose or intention.
I
What
completely
I would
understand.
do is order that you pay. We would just start 30 days from today to give you time to get your income under your belt. And starting on April 13th, I would just say $50 a month. Would that work for you?
Absolutely.
Okay. So you'll just need to come by, give me your best guess on your income information to update your form
Yes, ma'am.
and sign for your payment plan. What time can I look for you today?
Within the next hour and a half.
Okay, let's say by noon.
Okay. Sounds good.
We'll see you then, okay?
Yeah, I appreciate your time.
Yes, sir. Thank you for all the information. It does help me kind of think about, how things are playing out there to others when you interact with us.
Yes,
and I
ma'am.
appreciate you taking responsibility. I think you're right. You just weren't taking it seriously before. And
Yeah.
hopefully it's just going to move forward. I will recall your warrants today once you sign. Do I
Okay,
need to?
It's
All
just
right.
been a big lack of communication and comes with growing up, I guess.
Yeah, well, I have to tell you that adulting is number one when it comes to warrants.
Yeah.
And taking responsibility is part of that. And if you don't take anything further away from this, besides that, that's still a huge thing. And that's, I get 70-year-olds who are doing that. So
Yes, ma'am.
it's never too late to adult is what I like to say. So
would
you're
say-
there. I will meet you when you take that step. I will meet you there, each time. So you're there. Let's just get you back on track.
Yes, ma'am. I appreciate your time. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Gilmore.
Have a good day.
You too. And I'm moving forward to Britt Nero. And Britt Nero, can you get on screen? Oh, you are on screen. Excuse me. Can you unmute? How are you, sir?
Good morning, ma'am. How are you?
I'm very well. Thank you for asking. I'm just getting your file pulled and I've got it. So yeah, let me just kind of walk through where things are. I've got a number of options available for you. I just need to confirm a few things, okay?
Yes,
The
ma'am.
cases are in warrant, but you're here, so I anticipate getting that off today, okay?
Thank you.
And there can be circumstances. I do understand.
Yes, ma'am.
So I'm Judge Person, just back over it again, because, well, we're about midpoint in the meeting and people might have forgotten. And the other day,
Oh,
somebody
no,
actually,
I remember.
the other day, somebody actually was angry and they asked me my name and I told them my name and they thought I was making it up. So it is Judge Person. Okay.
Thank you,
So
ma'am.
this is all regarding, it's just back in 2010, December
Yes, ma'am.
17th of that year. There was a speeding charge and it has fines and costs of, sorry, give me 2 seconds. So yeah, sorry, it's a speeding charge with fines and costs of $435.50. The balances reflect the passage of time with neglect. So don't be alarmed by the balances. I'm looking to first confirm what the pleas are so that I know what options I have working forward. Okay.
Okay.
Don't
Well,
don't panic when they're high because I see some options for you. But I have
yes,
a
ma'am.
plea of, I have a plea of guilty there. Is that
Yes,
your
ma'am.
is that your plea at this time?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And then there's an invalid license from that time frame. And I didn't
Yes, ma'am.
get a plea on the form itself. What is your plea to that charge?
It's going to be guilty as well, ma'am.
Okay. And it might have just been oversight because on the not coming to court part, the violate of the promise to appear, we just filed a single charge and I have a plea of guilty on that charge. Is that your plea?
Yes,
of
ma'am.
this time?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. A couple questions. Is your license? I think I have a hold on your license. That can be
Yes.
part of your problem. Is there more to it?
Well, I've been back and forth trying to get everything situated, which is the reason why I ended up going with a state ID because, of course, you need ID to work. However, I came here in June of last year to get all of those things taken care of from Colorado back to Texas.
Yes, sir.
And unfortunately, my fiance's daughter and husband happened to be in a financial strait, and they gave promise that they would, give the money back. However, when he received his VA back pay, that didn't happen. So when I basically asked him about whether or not he'd, give me the money back, because I had important things to take care of, he basically told his wife that he didn't feel safe at home because I bullied him for money, which I didn't, but that's what he told her. And I was asked to leave. So from February 11th of this year, I have been in a VA sponsored homeless shelter. And unfortunately, my social worker was supposed to be here today to advocate with me, but I guess there was
I got a letter.
Oh,
and
okay.
That's been done. So
Yes, ma'am.
so it's fine.
So basically, the only thing I was trying to say is whatever I can do to get my license back. I have several job offers that would pay well over what I'm being offered now if I could only just, get back my license, get back on track, because that's basically what's really holding me up in life. I'm doing everything I'm supposed to do. I'm moving forward. I got a degree in kinesiology. So I'm really trying to get everything going, but my license is really just holding me up.
Okay. I think I can help you get back on track. So I'm going to interpret what you're asking here to be a couple of things. One is I will grant a deferred. I'm assuming that is something you would want to keep it from being a conviction.
Yes.
I will waive your fines and costs due to the shelter and the letter from the social worker that I received.
Yes, ma'am.
I will release the hold I have on your license today, but that can take up to a month to clear because we release it, okay, electronically, like today or tomorrow, that'll go in. And then DPS takes their time. They say 21 business days. When you do that out on the NAP, basically that's a month. Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
I'm going to also send you what I call a driver's license packet, and you'll want to print that, and you'll print it. That's how to get an occupational license. But what you might not need one. You might need one what you're going to want to do is go ahead and in that license process, it's a 6-step process. It even
Yes, ma'am.
tells you how to find a court. I've got the papers that you need to fill out and file with the court that you figure out you need to file it for your situation.
Yes, ma'am.
In that process, what that court wants to see is that every hold you have got addressed. Okay.
Okay.
So it'll help you know, like, is there anything else out there you may think you know? Sometimes people get surprised. It's better to get a surprise today than to get one in a month and a half.
Yeah.
And so it'll be it's how to solve it. So
Thank you.
in this process of it, you may get through the middle of it and realize I don't need to get an occupational because that's going to take longer than my license is going to be released. But you can work on it and see. Okay.
Okay.
So
Yes, ma'am.
I just need a signature on your deferred paperwork.
Okay.
And then I'm signing the waivers now. If I email you the deferred paperwork, can you print it and send it back to me today? Signed.
I should be able to. Yes, ma'am. Absolutely.
So that's really it. And then we're kind of done, I mean, it's
Yes,
going to
ma'am.
be like till July 13th. And then your
Yes, ma'am.
cases are dismissed at that point. Okay.
Okay.
And it'll give you a chance.
Thank you.
So here's the thing. Sometimes the deferral creates a problem.
Okay.
Convictions definitely create a problem where you get a suspension of your license. Okay.
Yes.
Sometimes a deferral can do that too. I hope it doesn't. I'm releasing your license, so maybe it won't do that. Okay.
I hope not.
If it does, then you go and get an occupational license.
Okay.
And that'll give you a bridge between not a good license to a good license. Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
So I always call the occupational license a bridge license.
Right.
And what I have found is if people have messed everything up every which way to sideways, and then they get through that deferral or they get through that process, they don't go back into that system again. It's
Because
just
I actually had a gentleman offer me a job in a trucking company willing to help me get CDL certified, but I have to have my license situated first.
okay. I guess I'm trying to decide if I should delay you for a month to come back with the license valid before we do this deferred.
Okay.
Because I have to send the deferred in. I'm not trying to game the system, but I have to
No, I
send it.
understand.
But I have the option of, releasing your license. No, let's go ahead and get your signature on the deferred. I think it creates too many things.
So I know you can't give me any legal counsel, but if I do the deferred, you said that could possibly hang me up.
Everything could.
Oh, wow.
Every movement is going to have an impact.
Okay.
So-
So now I need to figure out what the best option would be. Would it be the
Right.
deferment?
Well, a deferred is certainly better than a conviction.
Oh, absolutely. Well,
Yeah.
yes. Let's just go ahead and just do the deferred, and I'll just go from there. So as long as you're releasing my license, then I can go ahead and apply for the occupational license until all of that goes through. Okay.
Okay.
I'll go that route.
Okay. The email that we used to set up this meeting today, can we send everything to that email?
Yes, ma'am. Absolutely.
The only document I'm going to need back is a single piece of paper. Is it? Oh yeah, it's 3 single piece of paper for each case. So, and it's going to say at the top of it, conditions of deferred probation. And it's
Okay.
not really probation, but I use that term because people have an idea of kind of what that is.
I know what it is. I've never been on it, but I know what it is.
Well, and if you're ever asked if you've been on it, you still haven't been on it. A deferral is
Okay.
not really probation because there's no probation department.
Okay.
You're not answering and paying those fees.
Okay.
So you're not on community supervision, as they call it. It's just that it's a delay for a final outcome. And it's highly possible that at the end I'm just dismissing. I mean, I know
Okay.
that I will be, because I'm not really going to track your license issues. Sometimes I make people get a license. Here, you're motivated. I can see it. So I'm not really feeling like I have to light a fire there. What you
Oh
really,
no,
what you
I'm
really
gonna
need,
start everything as soon as I get my paperwork from you.
yeah. So I just need those 3 pieces of paper signed and faxed or emailed back today.
Okay.
And then
Okay.
you'll see the other packet, so to speak, in your email. And that's the thing to print and start reading through. And really, you're going to be following directions, logging in on different systems throughout the internet, throughout the state, and it'll actually educate you a great deal. And what you're
Awesome.
going to want to do is look at your license status. If it were me and I were going through a process like this, I would probably check my license every 2 weeks for the next
Okay.
couple of months before I
Okay.
assumed whatever was going to hit it had hit it. Okay.
Okay.
But it'll also
I,
teach
I,
you.
I do have a question. I don't know if this is a DPS question or would it be you, but
Let you know.
is there any way possible, because I'm currently still in the shelter, when I apply for my license, could I use a secondary address, or would it have to be the shelter? Because I'm up for housing pretty soon, but I don't have concrete verification where I'll be, so I don't have a permanent address to give them yet.
Yeah. So that's a good question. I don't really know the answer. It may be, but you're going to need to know, because you're going to be trying to figure out where to file to get the
Yes,
occupational.
ma'am.
And you file for that occupational at basically where you're domiciled,
Okay.
in the JP court.
Okay.
So the real question is, if you know the jurisdiction, like it's Austin, then
Yes.
yeah, and the general neighborhood, you could probably, like, if you know which side of town, you're probably good to file it where I think you're out at Wells Branch, where you
Yes.
can file it out there. And then what I think is that if you get to that hearing and you see that there's a need to change that information, you tell them as you go along.
Okay.
And
Okay.
they just want to know where do we mail the letter that we know you got it? That's the question in their mind.
Thank you, Your Honor. I
As a
appreciate it.
court, so I think that's probably what you're looking at.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you very much.
But I'll refer you to their page for the rest of the story. Okay.
Thank you, ma'am.
All right. Best wishes to you. Okay, Mr. Nero.
Thank you, Your Honor. I greatly appreciate it. Thank you
Yes,
so
sir.
much.
You're good to go.
Thank you, ma'am. Have a great day.
Thank you. You too.
Will do.
Ms. Dylan Overstreet, can you get on screen? Hi there.
Yes, ma'am.
How are you, Mr. Overstreet?
I'm good. How about you?
Good, I'm good. Okay, let's see. Let me get your file. There's a failed to control speed charge from February 13th.
Yes, ma'am.
The fines and costs are $264. I did receive a plea for teen court, which I will grant. With teen court, there's a $20 fee. Can you pay that fee today?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And then really what we're doing right now is those are all being heard over at the high school, Temple High School. I think we're probably looking at April 19th for that date, for that hearing. You would go, you would have your case heard, you'd have an advocate team for and against you. Basically, it's a sentencing hearing. We would be given a sentence from a teen jury. And then, you would sit down with a case manager and figure out what you need to do to earn a dismissal and save $265 and keep the item off the record. Are you interested?
I'm sorry. Could you explain that one more time? I'm a little bit confused.
Okay. You would come today. We would do your paperwork. Then for what would happen next is you would go to your hearing. It's probably in April. There's a March option, which, depending on when you get here, might or might not be available, but March or April, you attend that hearing. You get a sentence at that hearing.
Yes, ma'am.
you get from that sentence, you will sit down with a manager, a case manager, and sort out what you're going to do to fulfill your duty so that you can gain a dismissal and a waiver of the money and to keep it off your record.
Yes, ma'am. Okay.
Okay. So the next question is, when can you meet with the case manager?
I'm not sure. I work a lot.
Right, but it needs to be today. It's about 15 to 20 minutes.
It's about 15, 20 minutes.
Once you get here, yeah.
I could probably do it now. I could come up there now.
Now it's good. Okay, we'll look for you around 10:45, okay?
Yes, ma'am. Where is it at again?
Okay, so remember where you came and filled out your paperwork?
Yes, ma'am.
Same place. Just come to the window.
Okay. All right.
Yeah. Easy peasy, okay?
Yes, ma'am.
See you soon.
All right. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Ms. Boniface,
Yes, ma'am.
good morning. How are you?
I'm good. Thank you.
Good. So I'm just kind of looking at everything. Let's see. First question, we had community service and we have a show cause because we didn't receive anything. Did you do any of that?
No, ma'am.
Okay. Then I guess the next question, let me look at your doctor's note. Can you give me a second?
Yes.
Okay. Hold on. Okay, yeah, we had a doctor's note in November. I think I read it. Yeah, so you were, the doctor kind of had everything up in the air. And so I rescheduled you because I couldn't tell if there was a permanent situation. And now I'm seeing that you are kind of easing back into work. How's that working out?
Well, it's not as much work as I need.
So sorry, you're cutting out. It's just frozen. There you are. Okay. Go ahead and tell me that again.
Okay, well, the work is really not steady. I'm just a brush hauler, like my well, boyfriend, I guess you'd call him. He's my boss, and he cuts trees down, and I haul the brush to the curb. But it's been slow, and it's not steady. But yeah, I don't have much income.
Okay. All right. So I can go back to community service. I don't have to get a bunch of hours all at once. I need to see that hours are happening, and then I just keep working with you. But you've got to stay on time and have kind of a steady flow. Like if I got 10 hours a month, I'm good with that as long as we're heading towards a solution.
Well, that sounds better to me because I was under the assumption like, oh my God, I've got all these hours. I have to hurry, get them done. So I was a little overwhelmed. But that sounds better to me like that.
Right. What I need is to know that you're working toward it. So right now, where's my community service order on this one? Let me get a look at it and see where we are. We had a lot of things. There's also a restitution case. I've asked you several times to set up a way to do small payments there, and you have not done so. So, I mean, you need to do that part. That can be $10 a month, but you have to do it. So I'm not sure if we're just having a technical problem because it looks like your screen is frozen. Miss Boniface, I have a solution. I'm gonna have you just come on over to the court. We'll get things squared away. I'm gonna say to you that you need to be here this morning by noon.
Hello,
Yes,
I'm here.
right. So I need you to come by the court and sign for things.
Okay, I didn't hear, we got cut off. I just barely got what you were saying on the back part of coming in
Right.
and signing.
Right. I know I don't have your signature on the community service waiver. I don't have you signed up to pay your restitution. I've been asking for these things from you for months and months and months. So I need you to come by the court today. What time can you be here today?
Well, I'm not sure. And as I recall, I did sign all documents.
I'm standing here, I'm looking at a blank page without a signature. So I can assure you that no, ma'am, you did not sign it because you didn't sign it because it's not on here.
Okay.
And
Well,
I've been trying to get information from you and get you on a payment plan for your restitution and get you to sign this since 2020. So if you can't be here by noon, I'm not giving you more time.
Can I make it by 4 o'clock?
I'll allow it.
Thank you.
And then you're gonna do a payment plan on your restitution.
Yes, ma'am. Actually, I
$10.
have a payment plan. I made $20 payment on it already.
Yeah, I see that you paid $20. There's $230 owed, and that's been since April of 2020.
Okay.
So I would not say that that's in a steady payment plan, because if you paid $20 a month, you would be done.
Okay, I thought you meant I had not even attempted to do anything on that because I didn't sign it. My bad.
No, I have a waiver on your community service that I've asked for you to come in and sign.
Okay. And that's what you need me to sign today?
Yes.
No, okay, I will be there by 4 o'clock, if not sooner.
Okay. Is she? So I'll allow an extension on your community service. But here's the thing. I want to see some progress. And I want to see that you can meet a deadline for turning in and making a request for more time. So
Okay.
when you come in to sign, yeah, I'm giving you 30 days because I'm trying to see if a person can get something done in 30 days. Like, let's say a person shows me that they can get 20 hours done in 30 days. Then I have a better idea of how much more time they might need.
I got it.
1, 2, I know that I can look and see if the provider they're using is actually one that I can give credit for. And then 3, I can see whether they're capable of managing their affairs enough to have more time to do it.
Yes.
So saying, well, you made it all do at once. Well, I've given you multiple options and I would give you lots more time, but you've got to show up and turn in what you've got. And I need to know that it's going to pass what we call muster. It's going to have to be approvable.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. If I can get that going and you're showing up and you're on time and you're taking responsibility, then I have no difficulty whatsoever giving you more time.
Okay.
And just continuing to do so until we get this knocked out. So the list is a list for you to use to find a place that's going to be approved.
Okay.
Don't want to get off into the weeds looking for something different than what we're giving you information about, because if it doesn't get approved, you're wasting time. So
Right.
stay with the list. You're going to be better off.
Okay.
Can you pay $10 towards your restitution today?
I cannot say yes. I cannot say no. I do not know.
Okay.
I will try.
See what you can do.
Okay,
All right, we'll see you when you get here around 4.
thank you. Have a good day.
Thank you. You too.
Bye.
Bye-bye. I put a note in there. Anything. Okay. Chantrell Booker, how are you today?
I'm fine. How are you?
Thank you for asking. I'm doing very fine. I have your file right here. We did have previously had community service. I do know that you're on disability. I did get your expenses. I understand that you want to make payments. Let's talk a little bit further about that though. It's you and your son, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Does the other parent pay child support?
He's not working at the moment, but he is on child support, but he's not working at the moment.
Okay. But he normally does pay?
Yes, ma'am.
You know how to get the Attorney General to help you, right?
No.
Okay. So are you in Temple area?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. What I can do is give you information for how to reach the Attorney General. Do you know how to reach them? I'm thinking you're saying you don't.
Oh yeah, I know how to reach them. Yes, ma'am.
Okay, very good. I just like people to have the information. It's your affair. But sometimes people don't even know. So yeah, and they would, but they don't know. So I want to be a bridge to that if it's needed. So talk to me a little bit about your disability. What is the nature of your disability?
It's actually my son. I don't get a disability. It's my son.
Oh, okay. And what's the nature of his disability?
He's dyslexic and schizophrenic.
Sorry, you cut out.
He's dyslexic and schizophrenic, and that's about it.
I think that's enough.
Yeah.
That's a lot to deal with as a family.
Yeah.
Okay. So, I mean, I could lower your fine and we could go with $25 a month, but I'm showing that that would be pretty difficult. Do you have other help? That's maybe, is he in school during the day? Like, I mean, I
Yes.
guess I'm still thinking that community service would be a good instead of payment.
Due to I wouldn't be, that's why I was trying to see if I could try to do a payment arrangement, because I'm unable to get my registration for my car, and my dad was gonna be the one who helped me get back and forth, but he doesn't have a car, so I was gonna try to get my registration, but I'm unable to do it because I have a warrant on my I have a warrant from the ticket I had received.
Right. I can handle recalling your warrant. If I recall your warrant though, what I'm hearing is getting a ride is still difficult.
I mean, but it was I was gonna try to my dad was gonna actually try to help me renew the registration. He was gonna pay for it, but he was gonna be the one to try to get me around and stuff, because I really, it's hard for me to get a ride at the moment.
If I
It's
give
hard for me
you,
to get around.
right. So just help me understand, if I order payments, I'm seeing a difficulty, like I'm setting you up to go back to warrant. If I order community service, it sounds like you could do it slowly. Like if you did it once a month, or I mean once a week, you could probably get me 10 hours every a month.
That's what I was trying to see because I was calling around to a couple of those places, but because I had tried to do it because I know I did it at the VFW before, like when I was I had when I was in truancy, when I had did it with truancy, and they said they no longer do it anymore. So I was really like trying to see like I just have to get the list to see. I
Yeah.
mean, I would like to try that again, but
Let's do that.
okay, yeah.
You know, if you turn in 2 hours a month, I'm good, as long as we're inching away to a solution.
Okay.
And if you will just meet your deadline. So the deadline is to turn in what you've done and ask for more time and keep going.
Okay.
It's not a deadline like it must be this day or I won't take it and you won't get another shot at it. It's for me to see how much you can do so that I know how much more time you need.
Okay. I'll try it. I will try it again. But if I have like if anything goes on and I have problems with it, is there a way I will be able to try to get on the payment plan if it doesn't work out or
We just need to talk about how realistic that is because what I'm showing right now is you have income of $750 and you have expenses without food, you have expenses of $815. So to me, you don't have a way to eat. And then for me, or I mean, like, is your rent $695?
Yes, ma'am.
Is that the amount?
$704 now? But yeah.
Is that the amount you pay?
Yes, ma'am. 704. Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And you only get $750, right?
Yes, ma'am.
And then you have an electric bill of $120. You get help with that?
Well, see I go the state helps. I mean the help center downtown actually helps me with that.
Okay. Good.
Oh yeah, it is. Yeah, you're right. It is a bun, but
pretty tight. Do you get food stamps?
Yes, ma'am, I do. I thought I put it on there. I do receive food stamps.
Okay, what is that amount?
I get well right now with the I don't know how much I'm going to start receiving because they actually sent me a letter saying it will change, but with the COVID and all that was going on, I was getting $500.
Okay, so maybe it goes up or down a bit, but you're still
it's gonna decrease, yes, ma'am.
Okay. Do you have a phone that you pay for?
Actually, I have a phone through the state. No, ma'am, I don't.
Okay. And Wi-Fi you've got available?
It's actually free up where I live.
Oh, good. And watering is included?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Let's go ahead and do the community service again. And I do need to email you the information. Can you print it?
Okay.
The one thing you need to print is just the hours, how to track your hours because you've got to take that paper with you.
Could I actually come by there and get that paper? Because
yeah.
Okay.
I was just going to suggest that you could come by and we could do that for you free of charge. What time can we look for you today?
I could be there. I say 2.
Okay.
If that's fine.
Yes.
And on the and when I do that on the whole lifting the thing on the registration, like the warrant on it, because they wouldn't let me renew it. How would that work?
I need to know that you need me to do that so that I can do that.
Oh yeah, I need that done because I was gonna like my dad was gonna actually start driving me around. He was gonna pay for the registration for me.
Okay. All right. I'll release the hold on the registration. Okay.
Thank you.
And then we'll look for you at 2:00. You're going to sign your waiver. I think we don't have a waiver on community. And I'll give you an extension on community service until April 13th. That's a check-in point for me to make sure we're on track. Okay.
Okay.
And I need her. Okay. We'll see you at around 2. Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, I am moving forward, and if I could, Latrice Harris. I saw you a little bit ago. She's been having some tech. So she may not be on the meeting. So let me go ahead then and move to Stephanie Roberson. Ms. Roberson, can you get on? Can you unmute?
Yes, ma'am.
Hi, how are you?
I'm okay.
You're on a phone call, is that right?
Ma'am,
You're on a phone call, right?
on the phone?
Yeah, are you on the telephone?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Okay, I'm just trying to make sure I know what's going on. Okay, so let's see, I've got warrants on these cases. I did receive a request for a payment plan.
Yes,
Let me
ma'am.
back up real quickly. There's a registration charge. It has fines and costs of $409.50. It's just due to the fact that these are old, that they've gone up. I did receive a guilty plea on that charge. Is that your plea at this time?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. There was a no insurance charge and it was from the same stop and I received a guilty plea. Is that your plea at this time?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Then there's an expired license charge, driver's license from the same stop. The fines and costs are at $409.50 and I did receive a guilty plea. Is that your plea at this time?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And then I received income information as well as there was some assistance listed of $635. Can you tell me where that's coming from?
Okay. I recently moved about, I want to say 2019. I'm kind of confused. 2019, I want to believe, or 20. I got out of the women's shelter, Salvation Army, and I had chronic homelessness and chronic abuse, and so they
Okay.
put me on a program. They
Yes.
put me on a program to help with my bills and stuff, whatever. And so
Yes.
they pay a portion of my rent. I pay $150, and they pay the remainder of it.
Okay. So that really represents not cash in your pocket, but help to meet expenses that goes directly to, say, the electric company, that kind of thing.
They pay it to the rent. They pay it to my landlord. They don't even give me the cash or nothing at all. They pay it directly to the landlord, and I pay $150 of it, and then I pay the 50 part of my water. And then I have my cell phone, and I have my light bill, and I have a storage fee that I pay, and I pay my life insurance.
Okay. When were you in the homeless shelter?
I want to say I got out like February 2019.
Where were you?
Here in Temple, Texas.
Oh, forgive
At
me.
the Salvation Army.
Yes. Forgive me. How long were you there?
6 months.
Okay. Do you have children in the home?
No, man.
Okay. Do you still receive food stamps?
Yes, ma'am. I get $58 a month.
Okay. And so at the end of the day, I'm showing that you have rent that's $150, electric is about $130 that you pay, water's about $50 that you pay, the cell phone is about $250 that you pay, insurance is about $50, you're paying $50 or so for food. What about like gasoline, a vehicle, a pay?
Yes, like when I catch rides and stuff, because I don't drive, I don't have my license. So when I catch rides, I pay anywhere from 10 to 15, depending on where I need to go. And I do dialysis 3 days a week, Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays. I catch the city bus to hop for that, unless I have an extra treatment. And I have a lot of appointments that I go to, as far as with my heart and my kidneys. I have a lot of appointments. Some I can help with the hop, and some I have to pay cash to get there.
Okay, so you have a heart and kidney issue.
Yes, ma'am. Yes,
And
ma'am.
you're in treatment for that?
Yes, ma'am. I go every Monday, Wednesday, Friday.
Okay, is that part of your disability or Social Security?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Okay. All right. Ms. Roberson, I'm gonna waive fines and costs in your case.
Say it again.
I'm gonna waive your fines and costs today.
Yes, ma'am.
And that means that your balance will zero out. Any holds I have you on your license will get released. Those take time, and I am entering convictions in. The hold release will take some time to clear.
Okay. Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, I think we need to call it a day. Cases here.
Yes, ma'am. I didn't even remember it. I don't remember it. But when she told me, then I was like, okay, I have them somewhere. I don't remember the fines or tickets. It was so long ago, I think 12 or something. I didn't remember them. But I mean, if y'all got them in paper, that means I'm guilty, you know? So I was like, oh, Lord, what am I going to do? Because I'd be so sick. Like, I did my treatment yesterday. I barely got on the video this morning because I'd be so sick, like from my treatments and with my CHF and my kidneys and stuff, I just be sick a lot. And then a ceiling fell in on me. I'm 21. My whole entire ceiling fell on me. So I'm going through lumbar vertebrae tears in my back, busted disc, sciatic pain, neck pain. Oh, it's a lot, man. So I appreciate you so much.
Yes, ma'am. I'm sorry to hear that you're going through so much.
I appreciate you so much. You just don't know.
Well, I appreciate your telling me. Okay.
Yes.
But I am sorry you're going through so many things. And I have found that you haven't played on my sympathy at all. You've been very straightforward. But sometimes when we get some relief, it can trigger a lot of emotion. Getting some relief from stress. You've had a lot of stress.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. So I'm sorry that you're going through that.
Yes, ma'am. Just keep me in your prayers.
Well, I will do
It's
that.
just so discouraging. It's so discouraging because I'm so young and I go through so much.
You know, I won't go into my own situation, but I will just tell you that I can relate.
Yes, ma'am.
And it can be really hard when you're young and big things come your way. You are young.
Yes, ma'am.
I wish there was more I could do to help you, but hopefully this will help.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. All right. So, Ms. Roberson, I'm going to let you go. Your warrants will be recalled today. Your balances will probably take a few days to fully clear. Any holds that we have on your license, those are going to just clear eventually. If you need, if I email you license information to the email did we set this up? We set this up through an email account. We can email that information to an email. And once you get the feeling maybe a little more, interested in it, you can start working on getting your license back.
Yes, ma'am. After everything clears and stuff and all that, whatever, I could try to see what I need to do to reinstate them or whatever I need to do. I don't know exactly how long the process will take.
We have it just a we have a walkthrough packet. We'll email it to you.
Okay.
And let's see. Okay, I've put a note on your file that we'll email that to you. Okay.
Okay. And like, how long will it take to list or whatever? Like, at least right now I need my ID because when I go to my doctor's appointments and stuff, they're working on my back from the injuries. I go to ambulatory surgery center in Killeen, and when I go, I have to present my ID there as well. So I just want to know, like, if I could get able to process my license, about how long do you think it'll take? About a month or so to reinstate my ID?
Yeah, I would say a month, but the packet that I'm sending will show you how to check and see when it's cleared.
Okay, yes, ma'am.
So that's actually something you can do on the internet for yourself.
Okay.
And I really encourage you to take charge of that because what I found is that people, once they get educated, they do a really good job of taking care of their license.
Yes,
So use
ma'am.
the packet, it's a walkthrough process. Use it to get educated, okay?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Okay.
All right, Ms. Roberson. Good luck, ma'am.
Thank you so much. God bless you.
Thank you for that. And to you too.
Yes, ma'am. Okay.
Okay.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Okay, I have a quick question. Dania Coulter, can you get on unmuted? That's
Yes,
the
ma'am.
name. Hi, what is your name?
Janaya,
And what's your last name?
Coulter Pierenton.
Okay, got it. Got it. Okay, I've been trying to figure out who you were. Okay, I'll be right with you. Okay.
Okay.
I have Latricia Harris on, and I called her earlier. And Miss Harris, thank you for continuing to try to stay on the meeting. I know you've had some technical stress. I'm sorry you're having that. I had made a note of it. I knew that was happening. Let's go ahead and unmute and tell me how you're doing.
How are you doing today?
I'm good. So a couple of questions. This is a theft under $100. The fines and costs are
Yes,
$290.
ma'am.
Yes, ma'am. The fines and costs are $296. I did receive a plea of guilty and a request for a payment plan. You're on time to court though, and it would appear that I could do a different program with you. We have a program that is something that I've ironed out with the prosecutor here at the court. And the way
Yes,
that agreement that I have with him is we do this transparently. So what it says is if you reschedule your case, normally about 30-ish days, and you bring back proof that you've completed an online course in theft intervention, I would dismiss the
ma'am.
charge. I would dismiss the charge and you would not pay the $200. You would pay for your class, which is going to be about $50-ish. If you did a deferred, I would require that class anyway, but then we would have to sort out the $296 as well.
Yes,
This
ma'am.
way, it's an upfront dismissal. Are you
Okay.
interested in that program?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. What I would need from you today is a promise to complete the program. So you would come
Yes,
by.
ma'am.
Yes, ma'am. You would come by and sign for that program, and we would give you the information for how to find a class. And that way you have what you need to successfully complete it. You do have to pay for the class. It does say you do funeral homework.
Yes, ma'am.
Do you have a way to pay for the class?
How much is the class?
Usually about $50 to $65.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's a bit of a thing, but you save money. And the thing is, the first time thefts, I feel like are educational opportunities.
Yes,
And
ma'am.
most people, if they do their class, get it turned in and get their case dismissed, I never see them on that again.
Yes, ma'am.
And I would like to give you that opportunity because it can really impact your work. It can impact
It
your,
will, it can. And thank you for that so much.
yeah. And we here at the court feel like everyone should get another chance at just having a way to have a normal life with a normal. And even though it's only a Class C, it can really affect income and from income.
Yes, ma'am, it can.
Future employment. So when can you come by the court today?
Today. Today.
What time works for you?
Before 12.
Okay, that's great. I'll just put by noon. No.
Okay. Do you want me to pay for the class today?
No, you're going to actually be in charge of going online and finding a class and getting it done. It's an 8-hour class. You can log in and out, but I just need it back from you, proof that you've completed it by
Yes,
April
ma'am.
3rd.
Yes, ma'am.
So it's a matter of kind of budgeting that item into your life.
Yes, ma'am.
Getting
Okay, are they going to give me the information up there to go on to get the class?
Yes, there are several. It's okay, I can still hear you. There
Okay, because
are
my phone is trying to shut down on me.
Okay, just come to the court. We'll handle everything when you get here. Thank you, if you can still hear me. Bless her heart. Okay. She has been trying all morning. Hi, Miss Coulter. Can you get back on the screen, ma'am?
Yes, ma'am.
I thank you for your patience. I
No,
knew
you're-
I knew that well, she was technically also, it was her turn, but I knew there was something going on technologically, and I didn't want to miss the chance with Miss Harris. So
no, you're fine.
yes, ma'am. I just wanted you to know what was going on. January 11th is the date that we're talking about, and there are 3 cases. And I just want to walk you through them. I did receive a request for teen court, which I'm inclined to do. There's a guilty plea on the no license charge and a request for teen court. Is that your plea at this time?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. The next one is a failing to control speed charge, which can be confusing. It's not any kind of speed. It's just the vehicle being lost control of the vehicle. And I have that there was an accident, but no one was injured, which is good. And I did receive a plea of no contest to that charge. Is that your plea at this time?
I'll plead not guilty. I mean guilty. I'm sorry.
Okay, okay. Big difference. Okay. Okay. I'll make a note of that change. And then there's a no insurance charge from that stop. The funds and costs are $281. And is that your plea at this time?
Guilty?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And then I'm showing that there was income information. That's your information. Is that right?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. You're working.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And you're living with family, paying some of your own bills already. Is that right?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So with teen court, we do have a few requirements there. Let me talk to you about them. There's $20 each case that gets paid, so $60, but that's instead of $726. Okay. Because right now your fines total $726. If you do teen, you would pay $60. And then really, you know, hang on one second, Miss Harris, I think she didn't realize that she probably didn't hear me tell her just to come onto the court. She's charged her phone for a second. Let me just tell her real quickly, and then we'll talk about what might work best in your particular case.
Okay.
Miss Harris, can you hear me? Hi, Miss Harris, can you hear me? Hi, Miss Harris, can you hear me? Miss Harris, can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am. Yes,
Just
ma'am.
come on, just
Sorry
come
about
on
that.
over, just come on over to the court. We'll have everything here for you, okay?
Okay, thank you so much.
Thank you, ma'am.
And
Will
have
you
a
get
blessed
your
day.
everything? You too. Thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Okay. So Ms. I keep calling you Coulter. Do you go by Coulter or Pierre?
Coulter.
Okay. Is that on an ID or anything that we could change your name?
I use both of them. Like they're
Okay.
both my birth certificate. I just use Coulter more.
Okay. All right. So with teen court, in your case, I think we probably want to just bring that to the teen court trial. And there, you know, you would come to a hearing, and that hearing would be April 19th. We do that at the Temple High School. You are allowed to be there for this program. I know right now you might be in between there and Wheatley.
Yes, ma'am.
Or is Wheatley your normal campus, or is that a temporary situation?
I think it's going to be my normal one because after this year, I'm supposed to be moving up to the WA program so I could graduate early.
Okay. Okay. All that's great. I hear what you're saying. I know what you're talking about.
Okay.
Yeah, I followed that. So you don't have to explain it all beyond that. But so sometimes people wonder, I can't be over that high school. So you can for the program. Okay. But you can't walk around the campus, but you can come into the back entrance, come in, we're at the Learning Center. We go straight. It's like from where you walk in, it's not even 50 yards. And we're in that room. And then we get your case heard by a teen court jury with an advocate for you, an advocate against you. It's just the sentencing to decide how much you're going to have to do to gain a dismissal. Then you get some credits assigned by that jury, and you sit down with a case manager who will walk you through the options available given your work schedule, your life schedule, et cetera, your scheduling, to get your dismissal. You got to get a ride there because I know I can't hear that you drove illegally over there. Are you getting a license? Where are you in that process?
I have like my certificate to like get my permit, but when I went to the BPS, they said I couldn't because I had too many absences.
Okay, attendance issue.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. All right. So can someone take you over to the teen court?
Yes, ma'am.
In April and then pick you up?
Yes, ma'am.
You're 17. We don't require a parent, but it's better to have a parent, I think, because then if the thing is, parents are impressed by that program, they like it. And if you wind up needing them to help you, they can help you, but not everybody's in the position where that works for them. So I don't know your situation. Do you have a parent who would come with you?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. There are three $20 fees. That's a cash payment. Is that payable today?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And then you'll come by. Sorry, I'm making notes. Can you come by what time today?
When I get off this call.
Okay. All right. So around 11:30.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
And you said it was April 19th?
Yes.
At what time?
So what we do is right when school lets out at the high school, which is going to be at 3, I believe it's at 3:30. Yeah. That you just come right over if you're there when that ends. You can get out of Wheatley. We can give you a note to get out. And then you come over to the court. We do stay for the evening. We go home about dinner time and we're done for that day. Okay. And then there'll be a list of things for you to do. And you just knock them down and I sign a dismissal and you save $726.
Okay. Yes, ma'am.
You don't have convictions. Did you hit another did you hit another vehicle?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. What's happening with that? Like, were they insured for their own vehicle or?
Yes, ma'am. I gave her my phone number. I haven't heard anything. It was just like a scratch. It wasn't nothing like major.
Great. And insurance didn't cover like your family's insurance?
No.
Okay. You just need to not keep driving until you can lawfully drive. I know it's a challenge. And when
you keep going in and out. I'm sorry.
Oh, I'm sorry. Let me lean up and that can sometimes help. So yeah, I know that there's a challenge because you're working, but you've got to not drive. But listen, we'll talk to you more about it when you get here. We'll see you about 11:30. Okay.
Okay.
Okay. Thank you.
And where do I go?
Oh, where you came before and you filled out your paperwork.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye-bye.